Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay Police are on the scene of a sudden death in the Intercity area at this hour. Officers were originally sent to a weapons call around 2:30 this afternoon at a home on McMillan Street near Pacific Avenue. That's where police found the body of an adult male and immediately called in the major crimes and forensic units. A police spokesperson hasn't yet confirmed if it's a homicide, but there's still a major police presence on scene and the public is being asked to avoid the area. More details are expected to be released once police have had a chance to investigate. Meanwhile, city police are reporting a frightening incident earlier this week. A local man allegedly tried to grab a police officer's firearm during an arrest in the city's north end. It happened around 2 o'clock Wednesday morning in the 200 block of Pearl Street. Police say the 50-year-old suspect began fighting officers when they tried to arrest him on outstanding warrants. Police allege the man then grabbed at one of the officers' holstered firearms but failed to remove it. Inspector Ryan Gibson says incidents like this are a serious concern.
The officers did a great job. They were able to control that situation and restrain the male and get him into custody without injury to them. Although they suffered a few minor injuries, but they're fine. So obviously we have real concerns with this kind of stuff when it happens. Thankfully it's rare, but there is only one reason someone tries to disarm an officer, and it's not hard to figure that out. So our officers have excellent training, but it's just another reminder of the kind of issues our officers are dealing with on the regular.
The accused man has been denied bail. He faces 2 counts of assault with intent to resist arrest and 1 count of disarming police. Amusement ride safety inspectors are on strike across the province. The Technical Standards and Safety Authority insists the CLE won't be affected. Officials with OPSU, however, say striking union members will picket outside the family fair next month, warning people about the lack of inspections. But the TSSA says contingency plans are in place to ensure the necessary checks are carried out. Lee Noonan reports.
Safety inspectors working for the TSSA launched a province-wide strike on July 21st. OPSU represents 170 inspectors in Ontario, including 2 in Thunder Bay. And the walkout could still be ongoing when the Canadian Lakehead exhibition starts on August 10th. Union officials say they intend to hold an information picket outside the CLE fairgrounds. OPSU rep Stephanie Coyne is an amusement devices inspector for the TSSA. She calls the situation pretty scary.
Who's checking the operations? Who is confirming to the public and to the parents that the people operating these rides are qualified? There's no one checking right now. Who's crossing the T's and dotting the I's for the families that these rides are safe and ready to go?
The TSSA, however, says the strike will not impact safety oversight of the CLE. Spokesperson Alexandra Campbell emphasizes that every amusement park operator must employ a TSSA-certified mechanic who is on site and conducting daily safety checks.
We're confident that they have the qualified staff at the CLE to look after the safety of the rides, to do the safety checks. All of those rides have followed the codes and standards and how they've built. At those rides, we have inspected for safety, and people should feel very confident going to the CLE.
Campbell says the most important TSSA safety check is the annual ride inspection. Jim Mills, president of Select Shows, the Manitoba company that provides and operates all the rides at the CLE, says the annual inspection of their rides was conducted shortly before the strike began.
Everything was A-OK, and we've been assured by TSSA that if required, there will be stand-in inspectors in Thunder Bay if required. It's not a big deal. Everything has been taken care of, and we're ready to go.
Campbell confirms that qualified non-union managers, supervisors, and third-party inspectors are still conducting inspections with a priority on essential or high-risk situations. Campbell admits the TSSA is seeing delays in getting new equipment into service, and Mills concedes that could prevent them from bringing any brand-new rides to the family fair. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Ontario Provincial Police are on patrol across the province to ensure those long weekend getaways are as safe as possible. It's not just about catching speeders. Safety checks are also being done on vehicles hauling boats and trailers. So as Janice Golding tells us, drivers have to give officers room to do that work.
Civic long weekend, and the traffic is heavy moving northbound. We got officers all across the province looking out for high-risk driving behaviors.
It's the Civic holiday weekend, and the OPP is conducting its annual Move Over campaign.
Remember, when you see these flashing lights, he's got the arrow stick going, the strobes are running, slow down as you approach. There may be people outside of their vehicles, and move over into an adjacent lane. Give this officer and the people that are here an emergency lane or one lane of space for safety.
Targeting drivers who aren't giving emergency vehicles and tow truck drivers enough space to safely do their jobs.
The law requires drivers to slow down as they approach and move into an adjacent lane if one's available. And you can see the middle lane is wide open here, and they don't seem to be too concerned about it, and that's the problem.
The law was enacted about 20 years ago, and yet last year the OPP laid close to 900 charges against motorists who didn't move over.
I don't want to get too biased on this, but I did feel squeezed by the traffic to my left.
And while drivers may feel they have an explanation, Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says there's no excuse.
And this driver here, there's no reason why they couldn't have moved over. Absolutely not. It's simple.
5 officers have died on the side of our highway since 1989 as a result of inattentive motorists.
Do you have your driver's license, insurance, and ownership, please? Okay.
Of course, officers are also out targeting the usual.
That's like almost 50 over?
Yeah, almost, yeah.
How are they feeling?
Well, he says he's been traveling from Huntsville. It's a long drive for him, so he said he had a trip, cruise control going at 130, and he says he has no excuse.
He was doing 136 and 100 towing.
Keeping an eye out for aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving.
That was CTV's Janice Golding. Another incumbent Thunder Bay City Councillor has put his name forward for re-election. McIntyre Ward Councillor Albert Aiello filed his nomination papers today, becoming the first candidate on the ballot in that ward. There's now at least one person running in every city council race. Aiello has represented McIntyre since 2018, when he beat out a pair of challengers with nearly 50% of the vote. He's also the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Thunder Bay. The city has begun converting a couple of intersections from traffic lights to four-way stops due to declining traffic volumes in recent years. The switchovers will only take a few days and should make traffic run more smoothly in those areas. The first intersection at the corner of Frederica and Brown Streets was changed over on Wednesday after council approved the move last year. The city sent out letters to nearby businesses and held a public consultation process before the work got underway. Another intersection at Vickers and Donald Street will have its traffic lights removed starting on August 9th. The switch to stop signs will take about 2 days depending on the weather and shouldn't cause much of a delay for drivers, according to city traffic technologist David Binch. He says there are specific numbers they look for when deciding which intersections to convert to four-way stops.
So the threshold is 720 vehicles per hour to justify a full signalized control. Some of these intersections that we're looking at are operating around 250 to 300 vehicles per hour. And so we do study them over a certain number of years. So we want to look for a downward trend in population and volume going through these intersections to say that they are fully justified in the removal.
Binch can't give specifics about which intersections are next on the list, but he says the city is considering locations in both the north and south cores. It's a big night for martial arts in this country as the Canadian National Martial Arts Championship and Festival kicks off right here in Thunder Bay. The 3-day affair is packed with a variety of events featuring talented competitors of all ages. Throughout the weekend, the athletes will demonstrate different elements of wushu, which is a Chinese martial art, at Lakehead University's C.J. Sanders Fieldhouse. Wushu Canada's Alan Tang believes spectators, whether they've seen it before or are brand new to the sport, will love it.
Myself, I'm a stunt coordinator, and I train cast and as well actors. Here you get to see it live. You get the weaponry, you get the acrobatics. You have both the non-combat, which is the showmanship, and as well the full contact combat elements that will be in competition this weekend. So excitement all the way around.
The event runs through Sunday afternoon. This is the first time Thunder Bay has ever hosted the Canadian National Martial Arts Championship. Tickets are available on the Wushu Canada website. For the past 2 summers, COVID restrictions forced the organizers of Festa Italiana to scale back the popular event. And although things aren't fully back to normal, this weekend's Festa will be a lot closer to what people have come to expect over the last 30 years. Jonathan Wilson has the details.
With the 32nd annual Festa Italiana set to go starting this Sunday, event chair Benny Melchiori had hoped to offer residents a traditional festa like the ones they'd grown accustomed to prior to the pandemic. But due to COVID uncertainty, some aspects will still be missing.
We were hoping of doing full festa this year, but unfortunately, it takes a lot of planning. It takes about 6 months of planning, especially if you want to get entertainers from Italy or from any other part of the world.
But that doesn't mean there isn't plenty to get excited about this weekend, as for the first time since 2019, live music and the beer tent will make their return. As for the star of the event, the delicious Italian food that residents have come for year after year, Melchiori says they've got tons of gnocchi, penne, and meatballs ready to go, and he's confident they're fully prepared to ensure everyone gets a little taste of Italy.
We've been making gnocchi and meatballs and lasagna for the last 2-3 weeks, and we're ready for any crowd that comes along.
Festa Italiana will run both Sunday and Holiday Monday from 12 to 8 p.m. at the Italian Cultural Center on Algoma Street. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Well, it's a good start to the long weekend for Bombertown, Ontario's Janice Nadiuk. She's the latest winner of the Regional Health Sciences Foundation's Thunder Bay 50-50 draw. When she got the call today, she needed a little convincing that it wasn't a gag.
Your number was just drawn, and you've just won $533,010.
You're freaking kidding me.
I am not kidding you. I would not do that to you.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. $533,010.
So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't do that.
Nadiuk's skepticism quickly turned to excitement over the $500,000 windfall. She chose to support the Health Sciences Center after her father recently spent time in the hospital's ICU, but he's feeling better now. To date, more than $13 million in prize money has been awarded through the 50-50 draw. It's also helped fund vital equipment for the hospital, and according to the foundation, more equipment will be announced in the coming weeks.